This episode is brought to you by Batiste Dry Shampoo. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or getting ready for a night out, Batiste has a dry shampoo for you. Refresh with over 10 signature fragrances. Or try Batiste Hint of Color, a tinted dry shampoo that seamlessly blends with your hair. Need an extra boost? Try Batiste Dry Shampoo with added benefits like volumizing, texturizing, and more. Buy Batiste now, in-store or online at your nearest retailer.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And our next guest got enormous shout-outs last night at the enormous and absolutely packed Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. Wow, wow, wow. 16 to 17,000 people. About that and more waiting outside to see President Trump. And joining us now is Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman. Bruce, your name must have been shouted out with kudos from the president and everybody else. I don't know, like 20, 30 times. You were the hero of the night, Bruce.
Well, listen, I really appreciate it, but it was really Donald Trump's night. Think about the fact that the place was completely packed, and President Trump told me last night that he talked to one of the longtime employees that had been there back in the heyday of the Islanders, when the Islanders were winning 4 Stanley Cups in a row, and he said he never heard it so loud. And I agree. I mean, it was like a Game 7 atmosphere of a basketball game or a football game or a World Series. It was deafening, the amount of enthusiasm when President Trump walked out. It was electric. And I like to say that it was Woodstock, Nassau County style. Peace, love, and Donald Trump.
Yeah, and by the way, he also, he had a lot of substantive things to say, too. He called himself the border president last night, Bruce Blakeman, and the crowd went crazy. And then he said Kamala Harris is the invasion president. But he talked a lot about issues that really matter to New York and the country. I mean, crime, immigration. What were some of the big things that you thought really resonated? Because, boy, they were just chanting USA or Trump come back, Trump back to the White House 2024. I mean, it must have been electric.
One of the things that resonated with me was what he said directly to the African American, Caribbean American communities, the Latinos, the Hispanic Americans. He talked about life in urban centers, life in big cities like New York City now, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Minneapolis. And he talked about the fact, what do you got to lose in voting for me? You've seen what Democratic leadership has failed to do for you. You have higher grocery prices, higher gasoline prices. You have migrants invading your neighborhoods. There's crime. Your schools are overcrowded. What have you got to lose? Give me a chance. I thought that resonated.
Bruce, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, and he's right.
He's 100% right, because what he's saying is you've been doing the same thing for years and you're not happy with it. So why not try something new? And I agree with him.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's a great message. The other themes that he struck, I think, were fantastic, but this was a different tack. He knows that he's doing better in the African-American community than Joe Biden did. Rather than he's doing much better than he did last time against Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris is not getting the minority voters that she thought she would get because she's so disingenuous. She says whatever, would please the crowd that she's in front of, almost oblivious to the fact that people have phones now. They videotape what you say. So she'll say one thing in one community that she's vehemently against fracking, and then she'll go to Pennsylvania and say, well, you know what, I would consider fracking. That's just one example of how disingenuous she is.
Bruce Blakeman, too, Nassau County Executive. Obviously, New York is also pivotal, especially for maintaining, you think about the House. And also, you look at the Senate. I mean, there's so many layers to it, but especially the House. And there were a number of House members there last night that also got shout outs. I saw Mark Molinaro, Nick LaLota, Anthony D'Esposito, Nick Langworthy, Claudia Tenney, just to name a few, and a number of the other candidates too that are running. How pivotal is New York? Because that red wave really sealed it to have a Republican House Speaker. And think about all the investigations that have gone on, all the details that we know about the Biden family and even on the border, so many of these things. None of that would have happened if it was a Democratic
It'll all
House.
come to a stop.
Oh, absolutely. So keeping the majority in the House of Representatives and gaining a majority in the Senate is a very, very important thing that we need to concentrate on, as well as the president. And I think the president's trip here is going to help Anthony D'Esposito because it's going to rally the troops. I think it's going to help Nicole Malliotakis. It's going to help Mike Lawler. It's going to help all of the candidates that are running this year in New York State because he's really, really trying to run a campaign here in New York State. We haven't seen a Republican campaign for president in New York State since Ronald Reagan. And guess what? When he ran a campaign here, he won twice.
So you're promising Reagan 84 numbers? Is that what you said, Bruce?
Yes, yeah. Is this Tony?
We'd love to see it.
Hey, Tony, I was with your old boss, Rudy, last night. He was really good.
He called me today. He said he had a great time.
Yeah, he got a big applause, huge applause.
He said he had a great time.
So, wait, but Bruce, you didn't answer Tony's question.
Right,
Are
we
you
need
promising?
Reagan 84 numbers.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes, I do think we're going to get 84 numbers. I think Donald Trump has a real good chance to win New York State. And even though the demographics have gotten worse since 1988, some of those demographics, Hispanic voters, Latino voters, African-American voters, they're fed up. They're fed up with far left Democratic policies that make them worse off. So basically, I think that New York is in play. It's not like California. You know, Donald Trump is behind probably over 20 points in California because they're just nuts there. But people
They're
here
true
in
believers in their craziness.
And they're crazy, absolutely. But the New Yorkers, they are pretty common sense people, and they want to be normal again. And that includes every community, and that includes every region, whether it be rural, urban, or suburban. So, I told Donald Trump, I said, this race is going to be won or lost in the suburbs. You have a suburban message. You want to get back to American values. You want to lower gas prices, grocery prices. You want to lower crime. You want to stop the invasion of our southern border.
Yep.
So you have the message that resonates with suburban voters in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Charlotte, Atlanta. You go through the list of cities. Those suburbs are craving for Donald Trump's leadership.
Yeah, everybody wants safety. I thought one of the best examples was when last night he was talking, he was like, when I was a young kid, I was on the subway, Trump was saying, and it was fine. And now you need a Kevlar vest. It's like, talk about a contrast. Bruce Blakeman, thank you. How lucky for you to have a front row seat there. And also kudos and great comments there. But awesome rally. I was watching the whole thing. It was fantastic, Bruce.
Well,
Bruce, come on back on and tell us how you're going to pull that vote out.
You got it. Fight, fight, fight.
Exactly. Thanks, Bruce.